Hello, this is Angela Anderson. Thanks for joining me for this acrylic painting tutorial. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to paint a dragonfly. I'm going to be doing it on a thistle flower, so it'll be fairly simple. I think I'm going to try to keep it beginner friendly, show you step by step how to do it from the drawing all the way to the finished painting. I've got my husband Mark with me.
Hey there, everybody.
He's man in chat for our live show, so if you've got any questions, you can post those and I'll try to answer them while we paint. Let's get started. Okay, so this is my reference photo. I just really love the colors in it. I decided to go with a little bit larger thistle, so I found another photograph that had a little larger bloom on the thistle, so we're going to make it a little bit different. We're going to take out some of the extra ones, change the composition a little bit, but I really like the dragonfly, the colors on him, and the background, so we're going to do most of that the same. This is a 6x6 inch canvas that we're using. It goes along with the one that we did last week with the little ladybug. The colors will be a little bit different, but if you wanted to make them match a little bit more, you could take some of the colors that we're going to do on the background for this one and add them in here with these greens. I didn't think about that last week, but we probably should have done that just so that they matched a little bit better, and I think that that'll make them, if you're going to hang them and do them both, you might just want to add a little bit of the lighter, like teal colors to that other one from last week. So let's go over the brushes really quick. I've got a large number 12 Bright. This is the 6100 series from Princeton. They're our brush sponsor, so thank you to them. We've got a number 6 Filbert, number 2 round, and a number 2/0 round, 2/0. And then these two are their VelvetTouch line. This is the 1/4 inch and the 3/8 inch angle brushes. So those should get us most of the details we need. We might need a liner brush, but we'll see once we get going if we need to or not. I'm going to probably try to keep the liner brush out of it because it can get a little tricky for beginners to use liner brush. So let's go over our colors. We got Unbleached Titanium, Titanium White, Zinc White. That's just a transparent white, so if you don't have that, you can use titanium white instead. That's fine. Quinacridone Magenta, yellow oxide, cadmium yellow medium, phthalo green yellow shade, light phthalo blue green shade. That's just, this one is just a pre-mixed version of this plus white, so you don't have to have it. Just pre-mix a little bit of white into your phthalo blue in a separate spot. Dioxazine Purple, burnt Sienna, burnt Umber, and carbon black. And I think that's all I wanted to say. The Dioxazine, or the Zinc White, we're just going to use probably for the wings so that it'll be a little bit more transparent. That's the reason why we're going to use that Zinc White. So
yeah, people in chat were saying before the video started they're going to be excited to see how you do the wings.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, I'm going to simplify them. They're not going to be super realistic.
It could be like Batman wings.
No, because we're going to keep it in the same kind of, easy enough for like kids to do, something like that. So we're going to simplify it somewhat. It's not going to be super realistic dragonfly this time. So, but yeah, we'll see how we do on the wings. I'm not exactly sure yet how I'm going to do it either, so I'll be in on the surprise myself. We're painting this live.
And I wanted to know, how do you know it's a him?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's a girl. Who knows?
Okay.
I have no idea, honey.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, you just say painting him, so it's like, okay.
Well, I don't know.
All right, go on with it. I'll go get my phone so I can look it up.
Look it up. All right. There probably is some difference. Butterflies, they're very different. Male and female usually are totally different colors. Okay, so I'm going to grab the phthalo green and some of this light phthalo blue. And like I said, that's just phthalo blue plus white. So if you don't have that, just go ahead and grab some phthalo blue and white. Ooh, how pretty is that color? Very pretty. Let's go ahead and dip into that blue. And we'll make a little bit of a darker teal. We're just going to make this whole background kind of this teal, blue, green color. And I'm going to work very quickly and just sort of slap it on there and try to really work it into the canvas so that I don't have any little white spots showing up. Grabbed in a little bit of water in between so that I'm keeping my brush moist, because this dry canvas will suck all the moisture out of your paint brush. So you really need to keep it hydrated or you're going to use a lot more paint on your canvas, then you need to. Grab some phthalo green, phthalo blue.
Of course, I switched to side cam and you don't grab water.
Oh.
It's like, oh.
Well, I'm grabbing it now.
Okay.
So when I grab it, I'm just kind of dipping the corner in to about halfway. I don't want to go all the way to the silver part of the brush because if the water gets up into here, then it'll just get soggy. You can use your paper towel to kind of, if you feel like you got too much water, you can kind of dab it off on your paper towel every now and then to help also. So, okay, so I've got kind of a good coat on here, and I'm going to go ahead and switch brushes. I'm going to use this Filbert, wet my brush down. I'm going to pick up some white and just going to come over to the corner here. I'm going to start adding some little dabs, and make sure you do this quickly, so don't overthink this. You want this to happen while that paint's wet so that it'll kind of all blend together and mush. Do some fun sort of soft effects in the background. You just kind of want it to look like the light kind of coming through the trees or bushes or whatever's in the background here. So I'm just dabbing. The rounded brush here, this Filbert, will kind of help make it a little bit easier, but if you don't have one, you could use a you could use this brush too, and let me show you what it would look like. If you take it and you smush the edge of it down, you can get some circular kind of dots with it too. So you don't have to have the Filbert. We can use this bigger brush too. Let's go and grab some darker color, some of the phthalo blue and phthalo green, and we're going to dab in some of that.
Okay, got a question
as well
about the blending.
Okay.
They're wanting a tips on how to do better at blending. They said they can't do it as good as you. And so they want to know, would like doing a whitewash in the background help first or something of that nature?
No, well, no, I mean, I don't think so. Not in this case. I have really good videos about blending. If you're really interested in learning that, one of my best videos about blending with acrylics is the blue or the red poppy video that I did last year. So that one would be what I would suggest. Go check that one out and watch that, because that one might show you how to blend really well. Huh? After this show. Right, not right now. Not right now, okay. Well, I just think that it's probably, it's explained better there. I don't have time to really do it today because we're really not going to do that kind of blending today. We're just sort of dabbing it on here. So I'm making a kind of a light yellow green color. I didn't really clean out any of this paint in my brush, so I'm trying to kind of get over here where I've got a clean spot. You notice that I'm not mixing my colors right up next to where I've got the original colors, and that will help. Eventually we'll kind of move towards them, but that'll keep them fresh for as long as possible. Keep them from getting kind of contaminated with these other colors. I'm always pulling from the same side, just one little side there, scooping up just a little bit of paint on the tip of my brush, and that way I can keep those paint colors as clean as possible while we're mixing. So dabbing in a little bit of that yellow in there. I'm gonna grab a little bit more white and do some white. The harder I press down, the bigger spots I'll get.
Got a question, the difference between titanium white and zinc white.
The zinc white is transparent. The titanium white will have like more of the color particles in it, and zinc white, I think it's kind of a totally different chemical composition. I'm not 100% sure though. But I just know it's transparent. So if you look at the bottles here, you can see on here. The black underneath, the titanium white is almost completely covered. It's almost completely opaque. And the zinc white is very transparent. So there's a difference right there. That's probably the easiest way to show.
Nice. I like show and tell.
Show and tell. Yep.
It beats reading every day.
All right, I'm going to give this to you, honey, and let you dry that really quick for me. And while he's doing that, I'm going to go ahead and add some of this color to our one from last week, because I really want to add some of this pretty teal color to it. So we'll grab up some of that color and just add it in here. Try to not to go over the white daisy too much, but I think it'll actually sort of unify them a little bit more. The whole idea behind these two was kind of to do a series of insects for these little smaller canvases. So we want to make them match as best we can, right? Let's add a little bit of yellow. Ooh, that's pretty. Okay, so now we've got totally different kind of background going on this guy. That'll help. I'm going to go ahead and clean out my brushes while Mark's doing that. I want to say thank you and welcome to everybody that's watching today. Oh, I just bumped my side cam. Let me push that back. There we go. We do these shows twice a week. If you're new to our channel, I hope you'll subscribe. If you enjoyed our show, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends who like to paint. Let us know what you think down in the comments section. I'd love to hear from you. And if you paint this, you can share it with me. I've got all kinds of social media links down in the description. Different places where you can get a hold of me and show me what you've painted. All right, let's do him. This is our stickman guy. We're going to give him a dragonfly. Well, go ahead, hon.
Oh, no. You need to have them centered in the thing there. That's the most important part of the show.
Oh.
Jeez.
There we go.
Oh,
He's got a little dragonfly on his head now.
And what nail colors?
With the... Oh, I have no idea. It's in the thing over there. It's in the thing.
We haven't learned to write it down.
I'm sorry. It was a last-minute decision to
People love it.
do it. All right, let's see. I think it was... How did we have this going? I think it was that way. Okay. Yep, I think so. Okay, I'm going to use a chalk marker to draw this guy out. Dragonfly is, now if you cut off the edges here to make a more square canvas, you can see he really fills up the entire canvas from side to side. This part is a little bit shorter than the wingspan. So the wingspan's a little bit longer than the body from head to tail. So just keep that in mind when you're drawing it. We're going to have our wingspan going all the way up to this corner here and angling down this way. And then the body is going to be a little bit off center. So he's not going to quite be facing the corner. He's just a little bit in from the corner, and the top of him is going to be facing out this way. And then if you did a cross, straight across from there, we're going to be going to about right here and across to right about here. And we just want to make sure that our piece is centered. If you go across like that, what could help is if you did a grid, like I showed on Saturday's video, how to do a grid. You can do a grid over your original photograph to kind of get it exactly right if you are drawing this out yourself. Or you can just kind of mentally grid it like I do. So the center of our canvas is going to be right at the bottom of the dragonfly body. So right about there is going to be our center, right about there. So that'll kind of help us know sort of at least where to start, right? We can do kind of a shape like that. The wings are going to come down and meet up on the back right here and right here. So just make sure that you're kind of doing those wings across from where those dots are. They're going to go right out like that, come in, and then the eyes are sort of smushed oval like that. And then there's a little bit on top. They're split right there, and they kind of go like that. This is a little bit big for this dragonfly, but we'll see. So the wings are going to come up from right here. It's just, if this is the halfway mark, so these 4 dots are kind of on either side of the, right in the middle there, there's kind of a split. There's actually kind of a little oval that sets right there in the middle. So our wings are going to come up from there, down a little bit, up from there. I'm going to try to kind of get them even. Down from there, just a little bit. And then they sweep out like that. Then at the tips, they angle down. And don't worry if your chalk mark doesn't exactly match up to where you kind of started. We can erase those. That's the nice thing about using chalk. I don't ever really use pencil on my drawings unless it's a water-soluble pencil, or on my, paintings, because you don't want graphite oil can bleed through your paint, so you don't want to use that graphite pencil. Okay, so there's our wings there, and then down here, the second set of wings, and they really pretty much touch each other, so you can go right up next to those ones and out, and they split about halfway down. They start to split. These kind of curve down. So curve down. And then they go straight back towards the tail section, which is right in here. Kind of didn't get his angle very good there. Oh well. He's facing the corner a little bit more than I intended, but that's okay. So now I'm going to check and just make sure that I didn't get his body too long. That's about perfect. There, I might go a little bit longer with the tail. They've got a couple little feelers that come out back in there, but it's pretty narrow. And then the wings come up and curve in. So they come right up to the tail section there, and then they curve in. Right like that. Okay, so there's our basic dragonfly shape. And then you can put them on any kind of flower you want, or you could even leave them like this if you don't want to do the flower. But we're going to put our thistle right in here. So I'm going to put the bottom of the thistle body right back here. We're going to put the stem for it coming down like this, and then the top of it is all going to be like this. It's kind of flat. It does this dome shape, so it'll be all up in here, all spiking up like that.
So Chad's going nuts about your sweet chalk marker.
Oh, yes.
So we've used this before.
Right.
And it's in your Amazon store.
It is.
There's a link there.
Yes.
So the link's down below the video.
Right.
And somebody asked if you could make an inadvertent mark somewhere and then show how it would erase off.
Okay. So I'm just taking my wet cloth here, just a damp towel, and wiping it off.
Boom.
Wipe off the top of this right here.
It's like you're a magician.
It's getting down in the cracks right there on that
It's
one.
a duck.
What?
She's a duck.
I don't know what you're saying there. Sorry.
It's a reference to a movie. What else floats? Ducks.
Oh, okay. Monty Python. There we go. Sorry. I should have known that one.
You're slipping.
I am slipping. I know. There. What's going on? Okay. It looks like it's better to do it right away because the ones that are dry are kind of sticking a little bit more to the canvas than the ones that are freshly wet. So just keep that in mind. You might check that out. I like that composition. Now, if you wanted to, we could, I was thinking about putting one of these other just buds in down here, but we'll see if we need that. I don't know if we need it. It might just clutter up our composition. So I like to keep it simple as much as possible. Let's see. Let's go ahead and use our 1/4 inch angle. And I'm going to do the thistle flower first. So I'm going to use picked up probably 4 parts Quinacridone Magenta to 1 part purple, or maybe 2 parts purple. We'll see. And then we'll add a little bit of white. I'm just going to scoop up a little bit from the side here. And try to stay away from the yellow part because you don't want to dull this color. And let's see, that's about the color we want, maybe. That's pretty good. I might add a little bit more purple. That's good. Okay. And you can see how purple is really almost black. Like you really can't even tell that it's a color until you add a little bit of white to it. So you don't want to ever really use it full strength on your canvas unless you want it to look black. You want to add a little bit of white to it every time, most of the time. Just a general rule. I'm going to mix some green in it with it, and this will be kind of one of the base colors for our thistle stem. And what is this part? I don't know. Part where the stem touches the...
Maybe a bulb?
Bulb, yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that part first. I'm trying to sort of paint around our dragonfly a little bit. It's better to go too much over the top than not enough. You can always cover it. So there we go. Sort of an egg shape almost. So all of this is going to be behind the body, right? Then, let's see, the stem is going to actually come down here like this. So, like that. Let me see if I can get this line off.
So I don't think with the chalk markers they're permanent, right? They can be sitting on there for a while.
Yeah, they're not permanent.
Not
no.
Permanent, okay.
No, they're just like chalk in liquid form. They'll come off. Okay.
So you can draw on yourself with them.
if that floats your boat.
Like
yeah.
a temporary tattoo.
Right.
But down in the description, like I said, there's a link to the Amazon store. There's a link, it has all kinds of art supplies and things that she's using. The chalk markers are in there, and all kinds of other goodies.
Yes. All
Also,
kinds of.
there's links to the Patreon. The brush guys.
Right.
For the brushes that she's using, and you get 5% off with the code Angela Fine Art.
Yep. Yeah, and they ship out really fast. I've heard really good things about their shipping. So, all right, I mixed up teal with, used this light phthalo blue, bit of phthalo blue, phthalo green, a little bit of white. I'm going to also mix up some green, light green. And I'm just going to do these little kind of scales. So I'm going to use the tip of my brush and just sort of do some arches with it. Leave a little bit of that dark color showing. I'm going to wipe that brush off. It's got too much paint on it. So I want this bottom edge to kind of blend out. So I'm just going to kind of pull it down a little bit. Okay, let's try that again. So I'm going to load more on the very tip than on the back end here. I'm going to go in between, just like scales. There we go. And then I'm going to use some of this green, a little bit more of that purpley color there. I'm going to just use it to create some spikes outside. We can sort of dabble it on here too, define these a little bit more if we need to. There's little hairs these thistles have that go all the way down. Okay, let me add a little white. I'm going to just highlight that stem just a little bit. Just went down the center of it with a little bit of highlight. Let's do it again, a little bit brighter. Okay. Now the key is to not get too bright so that, let's grab some of this yellow. You don't want to get it so bright that you can't see it over the top of this color back here, you know, because we've got so much of the same colors happening. So just keep that in mind. You want to, I'm just going to do a little bit of yellow here, add a little bit of that. If it's disappearing into your background, so just add a little bit, either a little bit of the lighter color to make it, you know, more visible, or a little bit of the darker color. If that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm not 100% liking this yet. Okay, I think that's good. I may go ahead and just let that dry, and we'll add a little bit of burnt umber. Well, let me do it now. Let's see. Add a little bit of burnt umber to it under here, and some of these creases in between. I'll darken it up. That's better. Now it's more visible. See how we did? It was disappearing too much into our background, so we just add a little bit of that dark color, and now it's popping out where we can see it. Okay, so let's use some of our pink. If we haven't dried it already, let's spray it. And I'm going to use a little bit of burnt umber with the purple for this area right here, because this is going to be really dark right in here. So I'm just going to start there with some dark, and then I'm going to grab some of the lighter color and work out from there.
I've got a question.
Yep.
Do you watch the Outlander series?
Yeah, I do. I do.
Why did you laugh?
because it's like one of my favorite book series.
They said dragonflies and thistles are a theme.
Exactly. They are. I know. I didn't think about that. That's a good point. I ought to.
Oh, is this chocolate? Oh. Is this cake? Oh. Mm-hmm. I'm not
So
buying
weird.
that. Not buying that at
I didn't
all.
even think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, it was a subliminal thing, honestly.
I'm not putting on a kilt.
So, Diana Gavelton. Shout out to her. She's a fan. Those books are not for everybody. There's a lot of adult situations going on in there, so I have to say, it's definitely not a kid's read.
And that's why I don't read it.
Right. It's not for your eyes, honey. Okay, you're going to want to have some coming down right there. Oh, he's cute. He reminds me of those little fuzzy-topped troll dolls or something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Cute. All right. Clean that out, and then I'm going to grab some really bright, some white. I'm going to dry off my palette here. I've got some puddled water in some spaces. I don't really want that right now. Clean that part off. I'm going to grab just a little bit of that pink color, the lightest color. Go really bright. Wipe off the extra on my paper towel. And I'm going to go right up on the tips of some of these. The key is to overlap from the back forward. That way you've got kind of some of these brightest spots. And some colors over the top. So we can bring the other colors over the top here if we need to, and that'll kind of hide what's going on. The ones that are coming straight at us are really going to be kind of more just like dots, so you can have some that are just like almost straight lines or little dabs. The only ones that we're going to really see much movement are going to be the ones that are farther away. I really want to round out that top there, though. It's looking a little flat, so I'm going to grab some more of this. I'm going to grab some of that Quinacridone Magenta. Some white. Do some bright pink back here. There you go. So just looking at my outline here of my shape, trying to get a little bit more rounded out. Let's grab some of that darker purple color. Add some of that in. Okay, so that's good. Let's let that set. We can add some more later if we need to, because it's not touching our dragonfly, so it's not going to be a big deal to add more color to it. And I'm going to switch to this round brush here. This is the number 2 round. We'll do the eyes on the dragonfly.
And we'll be done. No?
Almost.
Almost.
We're getting there. Okay, so let's grab, actually I'm going to start from the back end. I lied. I'm going to start and mix some black with the phthalo blue. Maybe even a little bit of purple there. And we'll use that down the center back here. I am going to use my towel and just lightly skim over the top because I don't want a really heavy outline on my wings. So I'm just going to kind of gently disappear some of the outer edges, soften up those lines a little bit. And let's do the same thing on here. Okay. Let's mix up a teal with the phthalo blue and phthalo green. Really that background color, only kind of a little bit darker version. Okay, there we go. I'm going to use that for the body. And for the eyes. And the nose. Mouth section. It's going to kind of fill in, and I'm going to go on the outside of my center line on the tail just a little bit. Don't go too far out, but go. I'm going to do on the body is actually kind of green, so I'm going to go ahead and use the phthalo green and a little bit of the yellow oxide and some white. It's a pretty good color. Kind of a yellow olive green. I'm going to use that on top of this. There. Add some white. Dab some highlights in the center here.
Got a question about blues.
Yes.
They want to know if they could use a iridescent or interference to give it that glittery
yeah.
look.
I definitely think that'd be pretty. Save it for the very end. So, you know, because the iridescents don't mix all that well. Like they'll lose some of their iridescence when you mix them. So you can kind of save it for the very end. Put on your, I would do it the same exact way as I'm doing it now. And then at the very end, kind of add some iridescence over the top. Because they're fairly see-through, so you can kind of get away with just sort of adding them at the last minute here. I'm going to add some brown to my black color that I mixed for the tail. I'm going to do a dot right here. This one's definitely a little bit more complicated than the ladybug, just a little bit. So just keep that in mind. Try not to go too full on realistic on it. So kind of a line. I'm sort of just dabbing around the center part there. And there's sort of a split down the back right there. And underneath the eyes, there's sort of a dark area right there. And then the eyes are split like that. There's a little triangle right there. You can grab a little bit of the lighter phthalo blue and put it right in there. Okay.
Had a question regarding the use. If you were to use the phthalo green for the background in the ladybug, would it help it make it pop also?
Yeah, you could. You totally could. Yeah, it would make it easier to see it for sure against the background. Okay, grabbing some black here. And we're going to start on the details on the back. So 2 dots right underneath there. And then just tapping across there. Kind of a V shape. And then sort of V shape, V shape. And then there is this whole thing. It's really dark right straight down the middle. So I'm going to go ahead and do it one more time. This time with straight black. So it's really dark. Right down there. And then do just kind of some stripes across. Let's get too close together. Let me turn this around so I can get a better angle at it. You can use a smaller brush too if you need to get that little split at the tail. I'm just going to very, very lightly outline it just slightly. Okay, there we go. So you can show it up a little bit better. Let's do the body that way too. We'll just outline it just slightly. I'm going to switch to let's go ahead and switch to this brush. This is the number 2/0 round. And I'm going to use the light phthalo blue. A little bit of phthalo blue mixed with it because I don't want it that white. Okay. And then we're going to dab it in these sections in between. Add some little highlights in our little tail area. Just brighten it up a little bit. A little bit along the back, a little bit right here. There's some triangles right here and here. And then we'll add some white, some more white. I'm going to make some highlights on the eyes. So I'm just going to kind of pull from the center out a little bit. Clean off my brush. I'm going to wipe it clean, slightly damp, and then you can tap off that edge if it's too dark. You know, if it's too much of a straight line, if it's not blended in. Just tap it off with a damp brush while that's wet and it'll pull that color out where you want it to be. And I'm going to grab some more of the phthalo blue and just kind of darken up that outline of the outside of the eye, a little bit on the outside of the mouth there. Make it a little bit more visible. Let's do a little bit on here too. Triangle area right there. And then now you can just kind of look at it and see, okay, our body's a little crooked there.
So what color did you use for the eyes?
The eyes were phthalo blue and phthalo green plus a little bit of white.
Okay.
It was the same color as the background of the eyes was the same color as the body. And then I added a little bit of extra green to the body. So I want to add a little bit of this yellow, green. What were you asking? Were you asking another?
Oh, no, I was just going to say I got some facts when
Okay.
there's a lull.
Okay. Just concerned because that is disappearing in there, so I'm going to grab some of that lighter color again and just kind of outline it a little bit right there. Right there. That'll kind of make it pop out a little bit better for us. And then I think that's a good color, good size. I'm going to use the old burnt umber. And the edge of my brush here, and I'm going to go right up to, whoops, turn my ringer on today, so in case Spencer needed to call me, forgot to turn it off. We are back to school here. All right, so burnt umber, we're going to go right underneath this little triangle section right here. So if you did this little triangle section, we're going to start our wings. They're going to go right up like that. And out. I'm just using the edge of my brush. Kind of do that outline. Bring it right down into the middle there. Was I off camera?
Just the wingtip.
Okay.
But not too bad.
Good.
Well, you yourself, yes, you're off camera, except your hand.
So funny. So funny.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I'm going to do the top of this one. If this is not doing a straight enough line for you, you can use a smaller brush like this or a liner brush. Use whatever works for you. So it doesn't have to be exactly the same way that I do it. If you've got a brush that you're comfortable with, that you know you can kind of make smaller lines with, use that. Use a pen if you need to. They've got pens that, you know, you could even use a black pen if you needed to, if you don't have a brown pen. You know, I think there's all kinds of different ways to get this effect. Okay. That's pretty good. Let's go ahead and do a few little more. And I'm going to try to keep these a little bit lighter. So I'm just going to go a little bit lighter. A little bit smaller. Add some little veins out into our wings. Very little pressure here. Very little paint on my brush. So it's just going to kind of run the almost dry brushing little veins down into our wings here. Okay. That'll help with that kind of transparent effect that we're going for. There's a little bit darker bit of this wing here and here, so we can go ahead and kind of pull that part a little bit darker as it comes down. And out. And then we can do a little bit on this one too. This one we're just doing a little bit lighter than we did the top part. Okay, so we've outlined our wings. But really they're almost done as is, right? They're pretty close. But I'm going to go ahead and use the Zinc White now. And we're going to go in on top and add that. We're just going to kind of streak it over the top. It'll go over the top of that brown a little bit too. Make it disappear a little bit. If you wanted to get fancy, you could add your iridescent color to this now when you do the wings. trying to cover over any of the chalk marks I'm still seeing too. You really don't need to water this down too much. You can pretty much use it straight. If you want a little bit more subtle look, you can add a little water to it. It'll increase the transparency even more. And if you don't have this, you can just add water to your titanium white. It'll be a little bit more visible, but it'll still kind of give a similar effect. Okay. So I'm going to grab a little bit of black. Now I'm going to dab in where these wings are attaching here and just kind of add a little bit of dabs sort of in that center to sort of camouflage where they start and stop. I can even use a little bit of the black on the wing tips if I need to. Kind of darken those up, give it another little layer of detail. I'm not going to do the whole thing, but just maybe a couple little places there. And I think I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of this burnt umber kind of underneath the body on the thistle. Darken it up a little bit around it to make him sort of pop out a little bit more. Or her. Him or her. We don't know. Did you find out some facts about him and her?
Oh, I got facts. I know
got
about
some
that,
white
but
here.
I got facts.
Okay. I'm going to do some little white highlights there and there. And then I'm going to use a little bit of this white just in a few key places on the wings. Maybe just to make a little dappled pattern in them. You know, the little cells that are on there. So maybe kind of dab some little patterns in there. Totally optional if you don't want to do this. If you like your wings the way they are, leave them. I'm just kind of, I don't know why I'm doing this. I'm just thinking it might be pretty without having to paint in every single little detail on these wings. They've got all these little, you know, compartments and stuff. You can kind of do some little sparkly bits. Okay. And then he needs legs. So while I'm painting in the legs with our black, Mark can give us our facts there.
Okay, so they're really not dragons.
Oh, well, okay.
Well, I mean, just make sure.
Right.
Everybody knows.
Okay.
They say that that if they can't fly, they'll starve because
Really?
they only eat while they're flying.
Interesting.
Yeah. That's according to the Smithsonian, so I'm going to believe them.
Okay.
There's over 5,000 species. And modern dragonflies have wingspans of 2 to 5 inches, but they've found fossils with wingspans of up to 2 feet.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
So that would be scary.
Yeah.
And we get hundreds of them here.
We do.
There's a certain time of the summer where I guess they hatch.
Okay, I put that black over the top, and I just dabbed over so that it disappeared. I forgot to put that leg in before. And so there's 6 legs, but you can't really see them all. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's okay. I just say when they hatch, and then they're just like everywhere.
Oh, no. Yep. Yeah, the whole backyard is just like sparkling dragonfly. It's actually pretty magical. Pretty for someone who likes, you know.
They help control the mosquito population, so we like them.
So go.
Go gadget Dragonfly.
That's right. Go Dragonfly. Get them all. All right, so going really bright here with the highlight color and our pink. Going back to the Thistle. Let's add a little bit of that color. Now I'm going to use a little bit of this pink. Just a hint of it. Kind of on the wing, maybe. It'll kind of pull that color down and make him look like he's kind of, I don't know. It's very subtle, so don't do too much. And we can also add a little bit of pink in our background too. So maybe there's other thistle back here that we're not seeing. Keep it watered down, and you can use a towel with the
People are saying that they eat at the fly through instead of the drive through. We got some pretty good fans. They come up with some good ones.
Yeah. Is that one of the puns they're showing tonight?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is white, so just almost straight white here. Okay. And then I'm seeing a little tiny bit of yellow in the Thistle too, so I'm going to go ahead and do just a couple little bits of yellow. Clean up that corner there. It's looking weird. All right, and this is where we can just kind of look at it and decide if there's any other parts that we need to focus on, if we need a little highlight or anything like that. I'm going to grab some of this yellow and maybe add a little highlight along the body here and here. Maybe even a little bit of white with it. Never did use my Unbleached Titanium. There we go. Just trying to kind of pull him out a little bit more from that background. And I think we're done. What do you think, hon? Is it enough? He's cute. I like
let
him.
me see. It looks all right.
He looks all right. All right, so these are them side by side.
I'll zoom
Little
out
friends.
a little bit and take the little side
And
stuff off.
honestly, if you wanted to, if you did these side by side and you did, well, no, they didn't. They're not really in. They're not in perspective. So I was going to say you could bring the daisy flower over, but the daisy's way too big. The dragonfly and the ladybug's more like this size compared, probably.
Oh, so and somebody said that there's damselflies, which there are.
These are also called damselflies?
Well, no, there's damselflies. So they're the much smaller, skinnier looking ones that you'd see around. So we didn't talk about Patreon.
Yeah, if you don't want to draw this and you want to get a traceable for it, I have those available on patreon.com/AngelaFineArt, and they are $1 for a month. It's a kind of a pledge system, but you can download as many as you want in that month time and cancel whenever you want to and keep your downloads, all that good stuff. It's not $1 each download, it's $1 period for a whole month of as many downloads as you want. So it's a pretty good deal, especially if you're doing several of the tutorials. And, you know, if you don't like to draw, even if you do want to draw it yourself, what the traceable can do to help is you can, I'm going to use a little bit of white here and just kind of do some more dabs in the background while I'm talking.
Not you.
Even after I signed it here. Maybe do some circles. What you can do is draw your drawing out, and then use the traceable as kind of a check. You can check and see how close you got in your drawing to what I did. Can really help you improve your drawing skills a lot faster when you're kind of using traceables and doing that kind of thing, checking them, and just the act of tracing it forces you to focus on what you're looking at, really focus on the lines and everything. And so what I would suggest you do is, if you're going to do a traceable and then try to draw it, draw out the traceable first and then draw it, and then take your traceable that's on tracing paper and place it over the top of your drawing, and then you can kind of see how they compare and where your drawing got off a little bit, and then try it again. And do that as many times as you need to until you kind of see where you're maybe, going a little off on your drawing, which is, I could draw this 3 times and have it different each time. So it's, it's not like, I don't know. It's just a good practice. I've got a little area up here that...
well, good seeing all dragonflies aren't exactly the same. So
that's true. Yeah, that's true. So it's a lot easier. If you've got any little chalk marks still showing, you can kind of touch those up with a little bit of your green paint. I think we're done. So thanks so much, guys, for watching today. I hope you try this. I really like how this one turned out. I love the colors in this, the purple and that teal green. It's really pretty together. So hope you try it and share it with me. If you do, on my Facebook page, I've got a Thankful Art group that's free, and it's number one rule is be kind. And if you want a critique, you can ask for it. But for the most part, we're just there to kind of encourage each other in our art journeys and share the things that you're painting from my tutorials. So, yeah, it's a lot of fun. What?
You're just talking and painting. You're
I know.
going back to painting.
I'm just realizing that some of these are kind of curving up this way. So
I'll just let everybody know that down below there's the links to the Facebook groups and Pinterest, Instagram, Twitter, all the social media, so you can follow Angela there.
Yes.
Like she said, the Facebook group is moderated, so all posts have to go through screening first, so it's not spammed or anything crazy. And again, everybody's really kind and awesome in that group.
Very encouraging.
We encourage you to hit the thumbs up for this video and subscribe to the channel if you're new, just finding us. We appreciate it so much. And Angela's just leaning back, just enjoying her creation right now.
Just making sure, checking it,
smile
making
on her
sure there's
face.
nothing else I want to change. I know, this is the best job ever. I love it. All right, guys, thanks so much. We're going to go see what our boys made us for dinner. They were in charge tonight, so
when's the next show?
Should be interesting. Saturday night, or Saturday at 2 p.m.
2 p.m.
We're going to be doing
Central Time.
an ocean seascape. It's going to have an ocean arch, and I think we're going to use palette knife on it, so it'll be fun. Those who like palette knife, we'll do some palette knife and some regular painting on it. Should be a fairly simple one. And then Sunday, it's our Patreon bonus show. So we're going to actually start on a portrait. So if you ever wanted to learn how to do a realistic portrait, we're going to do a series of one portrait, but we're going to do it over at least 2 months, possibly 3 months, for our Patreon folks that pay the $5 a month for the bonus videos.
Or $10, $5 and above.
Or above, or above. So it's going to be really fun, I think. If you don't want to pay for both months, you can wait till next month and pay then, So, but it'll be the first half this month and then the second half next month. Hopefully we'll finish it next month. If we don't, we'll do it a third month. So it just depends on how long it takes us. But we're going to take our time with it and do it really realistic portrait, and I'll show you kind of how to do it so that you can use whatever portrait you want. You don't have to do the same one as I am, but I'm going to show you kind of different techniques for doing portraiture art. So that'll be this Sunday is the first one. And
what time is that?
2 p.m. also.
2 p.m. So they'll have to join the Patreon group, then they'll get the link.
Yes,
because
you
it's
can
a
get the
private
link
unlisted
on
show.
Patreon. Yes, on Patreon, it'll be there. So
Okay,
it'll be good. Yeah, I think it'll be a fun one. We don't usually do those because they take so long. Portraits are just, you can't do them in an hour or 2 hours. You got to take several. You got to take your time. So that's why we're doing it on Patreon. And thank you to those who are helping support our channel through that and allow us to do those kind of fun stuff once a month. So, all right, I'm going to get off here. Thanks, guys. Have a great night. And we will see you Saturday and Sunday, hopefully. And we'll be back next Tuesday as well. So see you next time. Bye.